for the final time in Boston, the champ is here! I'm John Rant with my review of WWE Raw from the TD Garden in Boston, Massachusetts. John Cena's final ever wrestling appearance in Boston, and boy oh boy, it was certainly memorable. It was certainly surprising, a lot of chatter, so I decided to cover it. Even though I knew what was going to happen because I had friends telling me, and I was also at a mystery movie. It was Eternity from A24. I encourage you guys to check it out when it comes out in a couple weeks. So, let's jump right on into it. 16 to 17,000 people. They were screaming. They were passionate. They probably mortgaged their futures to go to this event. But whatever. They got to see their home state guy get a big old pop and a big old reaction. Joe Tessitore and Wade Barrett calling the action. Good. We actually have proper commentary. Instead of Michael Cole and Pat McAfee. So the talents arrive, and boy, that crowd's alive. That crowd is insane. And oh, look, Mr. Ego, Triple H. You know, the man that liked to glaze, as the kids say, the criminal piece of shit that some of you stupid motherfuckers voted back into the White House because you're all goddamn idiotic and you hate yourselves almost as much as you hate minorities and women and LGBTQ people and anybody that isn't white and Christian and whatever. So that being said, Triple H is one of the biggest egomaniacs that has ever existed in wrestling. That has basically, look, the man slept his way to the goddamn top. I'm sorry, if we can say that about women, we can say that about guys. Was he going to get to a proper position in the business? Whether or not he married Stephanie, we'll never know. But the whole curtain call burial thing, I'm just going to go on a bit of a rant here, so this review might go a little bit longer, but it's always funny looking at Triple H's career. Started Killer Kowalski's promotion, went to WCW for a year, went to the WWF, was, Connecticut Blue Blood, got squashed by the Ultimate Warrior, who was a bigger piece of shit, if we're perfectly honest. But the curtain call. He then got buried forever and ever. He kept losing, eating shit, and learning to like the taste of it. He won the Intercontinental Championship within 5 months. 5 months. Maybe it was 5 months and 2 days. He was the Intercontinental Champion. He lost it to Rocky Maivia. He was part of a prominent program against Goldust heading into WrestleMania 13. And he won the King of the Ring in June of 97 and was on the ascent. So I will not ever fucking buy into the narrative or listen to the narrative that he got buried. And it has stuck in his craw ever since that he has always been saying, oh, I'm the fucking game, I'm all this. And I'm not saying that Triple H didn't work hard, and I'm not saying Triple H didn't have pretty good matches. I'm not saying Triple H wasn't a proper worker. I'm not saying Triple H wasn't one of the most detestable villains on screen and off screen. I'm not saying that he did not work hard. But I'm also saying that he is not nearly one of the best ever. If he's in your top 20, fine. If he's in your top 10, fine. If he's your number one guy, good for you. He ain't mine. And that doesn't mean I'm going to take away from his hard work. But he also basically learned from Vince in this sense. He learned how to protect himself with his douchebag yes men such as Michael Hayes, Paul Heyman, and Shawn Michaels and Road Dogg. And there was a Triple H sucks sign, behind him, which I'm sure that either the sign got removed or that fan got removed. Now, the sign better have gotten removed. Because otherwise, Triple H's little ego can't stand it and everything. But no, we can't mention any of the more sordid stuff about Triple H, because then people might look on the internet and see stuff they're not supposed to see. And then maybe that'll prevent them from going in the Hall of Fame while they're still alive. But then he talks about, taking WWE to bigger heights. Meanwhile, he's glazing and fawning over an idiotic blob that's falling asleep. This criminal piece of shit that has done nothing proper, nothing positive for this country. But, he's taking on more duties and doing that stuff and helping lead to more degradation and more issues with this country that proper smart people on both sides, by the way, both sides that actually want to solve problems in this country, make sure that people have access to proper health care, make sure that people have access to, food assistant programs and other assistant programs because everybody needs a helping hand at some point because there's a lot of hardworking citizens. Make sure the people that come in from other countries that want a better way of life just can contribute. Just like, people that came from, over across the pond over here and settled on this land that never belonged to people like me. But that's okay because we were here first, except we weren't here first. And the reason I'm going off a bit on this kind of stuff and the reason I'm kind of making this more of a political rant and I don't really give a shit if anybody gets offended is because for 40 something days, and the shutdown's probably going to end here pretty soon, all this bullshit was going on, and Triple H is one of the people that is an example of just how toxic that side is. Just how toxic so many of these motherfucking morons are. But he tries to, put out, a proper, business mind and, business persona. And people cheer and go crazy because, he's bringing their favorite stars. He's never been any more than a guy that was lucky to get where he was. He could work with the top guy. He could never be the top guy without being seen as somebody that was essentially just a joke. Because look at him. Look at him. And look at the state of his title reigns. Look at the state of his work, especially when he was juiced to the fucking gills. He got to the point where he could barely move. He got to the point where he was getting injured pretty goddamn often because his muscles were tearing like crazy. And now you can't even start a fucking microwave around him or otherwise his little tick, tick, tick will not go so well. Because he juiced himself so goddamn much. Now he can't get all excited. And now he's doing more bullshit and everything and going away from his wrestling duties. But he gets all the credit of the hard work of the wrestlers that have basically bled and sweat and paid the price. And some people have been, neutralized. Some people were out of the goddamn company. The man says he doesn't see color. Lashley, Shelton, and MVP. They're in AEW, doing pretty well. And then you have heard that Ron Killings got brought back because they listened to the fans. Ron Killings is just back to being R-Truth and being the goof and everything because they just abandoned all that stuff with John Cena. But Triple H is such a genius. He's such a fucking genius. Where is this genius? All he did was take stuff from the indies when he was, taking over NXT. And I'm not saying NXT wasn't a proper WWE indie-style promotion. I'm not saying there aren't good things that Triple H has done. But I will not listen to people saying that he is without flaw. If you think he's without flaw, you're wrong. I'm not without flaw. None of y'all are without flaws. And the reason I'm going to rant here more about Triple H, and I have ranted enough as it is because I will not respect a guy that basically has always been a fucking hypocrite. That says that the fans just need to be fans. The media just needs to be media. It's like we need to just, not overstep our bounds and everything. But then he goes and deals with a man that wants to overreach on the law, that said he would fuck his own daughter if she wasn't his daughter, but probably has tried and has a whole bunch of other stuff and everything. And then his own father-in-law has a whole bunch of cases against him. And I'm betting that Triple H probably knows quite a bit about that. But he's trying to shield himself to make sure, and I'm just saying allegedly, I don't know for certain. But it's always funny that people will gloss over that stuff because, he books my favorite wrestlers, or, he's such a big star. Sure. And he also has a lot of skeletons in his fucking closet. And he is no saint. He is no genius. The last couple years of booking has proven it. He has ridden on the coattails of the Bloodline and other stars. You take a look at some of the stuff that Triple H has done. And you tell me, what has he done lately that has had momentum? The reason I have not reviewed Raw lately is due in large part to the fact that it is so formulaic. You could watch clips. You could not really miss much of anything. But the reason I decided to basically review this show, and I'm going to get to the positives here, is I wanted to just basically fucking rant about Triple H. And I may review a couple more WWE shows. I don't know if I'm going to review Survivor Series War Games. I don't have an idea. Yeah, it just depends on how I feel. My time is coming to an end reviewing WWE regularly. And a lot of that is because of Triple H being the hypocrite he's always been. So let's get to John Cena. After Triple H basically wants everybody to glaze him constantly. That, we live in a time where people don't agree on much. We don't agree on much because you basically are a fucking hypocrite. There's some what chance, who's the greatest of all time? He calls himself somebody that is objective. Objective. That's fucking laughable. Mr. Objective. A man that held many talents down, and you can't fucking deny it. You can't fucking deny it, folks. I lived through it. I'm a lot fucking older than y'all, and I have seen a lot of burials, a lot of the ridiculousness of Triple H. So, we end up getting a massive roar for Cena. It is great. Boo, John Cena sucks. Whoop-a-doo. Thank you, Cena chance. He talks about the tournament. The last time is now tournament. He says it's Saturday night's main event. It will be him or his last match. And he's getting emotional. You can tell he's trying not to crack up. And he basically says it's going to be main roster versus NXT as well. It's going to be taking this company into the future, where they'll probably be sold to the Saudis within a few years. Because I think that's what TKO is going to do. He talked about the WWF. And that got censored. And he's ready to go, and then suddenly Dominic's music hits. Mixed reaction at first, but Dominic makes sure that the people heal on him. He talks about being the future. Talks about Ray, bothering him recently because they're going to go back to that feud, which is fine. It's been a couple years since they've really done that. And Cena basically tells him, choose your words carefully. Because here in Boston, I'm invincible. You will lose. And basically, he says, leave or I end you. Dominic says, I've been better than you for years. Or I've been better than you, I've been better than you have ever been, basically. And, okay, that's fine. He hasn't even reached his prime. Dominic has improved quite a bit, and I'm willing to eat crow about that. I've been wrong. So, the match will start now, and it will be for the IC title. We are 25 minutes into a 2-hour and 25-minute show. That's the video length that I saw on Netflix. So, Cena versus Dominic for the IC title. I'm not going to get into a massive amount of detail about all the moves and stuff like that, because Dominic was healing it up. John Cena was firing back, and every time he fired back, every time he breathed hard, he got cheered. The You Can't See Me 5-knuckle shuffle. Dominic tried to do the lie, cheat, and steal thing with the chair, but Cena put it down by Dominic and laid down everything. Referee turned around. But then he tried for the AA. Referee got kicked outside, and then Dominic tapped to the STF, but no referee. He hit an AA. Second ref came down, but just in time for 2. Good spot. Good spot there. Dominic hit 619, hit the frog splash, and then Cena, invincible in Boston, picked Dominic up. AA, 1, 2, 3. First time ever John Cena is the Intercontinental Champion. Some people might say, and I don't know how many people were actually saying this, I wasn't paying attention to chatter. Anybody who thinks this damages Dominic, no. Doesn't damage him at all. He could win it back at Survivor Series. He could move on to something else. Dominic is Teflon. He had it for nearly 7 months. He was doing stuff. Cena winning here does not damage Dominic at all. And it was nice that Cena got this. He may only have it till Survivor Series. He may lose it in his last match. I don't know. The bottom line is that, now he's a Grand Slam champion. That's good. It's a cool moment. Doesn't hurt Dominic one bit. Ray and others congratulate Cena. Cody then shows up. We got some boos. More on that here in a bit. Recaps of the Punk, Logan Paul stuff. Look, Punk and Logan Paul. Punk can only get so much out of somebody, and the Logan Paul shine is way done by now. Veterans Day package. We should honor the military. And we should also honor Ashley Massaro. And if you get the connection with that, I don't care if you're offended. Rusev versus Priest. First round last time is now a tournament match, and Priest had a bad eye after facing Aleister Black. At least I think it was Aleister Black. And yeah, Rusev kept going for the eye and then hit a Machka kick and got the victory. That was about 10 minutes of programming. There's not going to be a lot of coverage of some of this stuff. I mean, I know it's going to be a little bit surprising. Partly because I've kept an eye on the clips and stuff like that, and I wanted to talk about the Triple H stuff, but I also want to talk about the John Cena stuff, which is why I spent a few minutes on it. But the rest of it, I didn't necessarily care about, and I'm going to give you reasons why here in a bit. So, AJ Styles and Dragon Lee are trying to come up with tag team names, because they're the new tag team champions. I did see the match they had against Finn and Mini Finn. It was fine. So, Maxine talks to Pierce. She doesn't know if she's ready to face Becky, but she wants a shot next week in MSG. Then Becky attacks her, says, "You're not ready. Don't you fucking dare do it. Don't you fucking dare. You got a boatload of talented women back there, and you're going to give it to Maxine." And I know that's going to sound harsh. I don't care how much she trains. People are like, "Oh, she should get a short run." You guys can think that if you want. I would find it embarrassing because I'm sorry, there are so many other women that could get a shot at the title, and the feud could be better. And I'm not just talking about this. Nevertheless, Punk gets a pop. He's pissed off, calls out Logan Paul. Logan Paul talks for a bit, and I just wish that the Prime lawsuit that apparently he is in, and other lawsuits that are hitting him, could hit a little bit harder, because I would like to see this man suffer for all the bullshit that he's done. But Heyman then talks about, well, you have no friends, you're friendless. It's because you betray your friends. And funny how Heyman, who wrecked the lives of so many talents in ECW, would talk about ruining friendships, but whatever. He's Teflon, an idiot. So, yeah, the Browns are also there, and then Jay and Cody show up. Jay shows up from the back end there, and then Cody runs out and conveniently has an open shot to get in the ring. And Cody actually did get a good reaction here. I'll save my thoughts on the women's tag match for a little bit later, but they showed a little bit. They showed the debut of Lash Legend on SmackDown. Anyway, Stephanie Vacour or Vacour, however you say it, with Nikki Bella in her corner, took on Raquel Rodriguez, Gonzalez, Rutabaga. I don't know, I'm coming up with other words. With Roxanne Perez in the corner. I don't know why Roxanne was dressed in a college letterman's jacket like she was ready to go do gymnastics. But whatever. It's a women's title match, and look, Raquel can do some good power moves, but she can't do them well enough to mask the fact she is never going to get this. We did get the Devil's Kiss. I don't know who on earth would ever want to take that move. I certainly wouldn't. Good on Miles Bourne. I wish him and Stephanie nothing but happiness. And the Corkscrew won it. And then Roxanne attacks. And then Nikki fights her off. And then Nikki lazily attacks Stephanie. No. I knew that we were going to go this route, and Stephanie Vacour says that the Bellas inspired her. Whatever. If you're a Bella fan and you want to see this, fine. I don't care, because I'm not trying to offend you guys, but no. I know why Nikki's there. They're testing my willingness to look past certain things because of all the bullshit, the real-life bullshit that Nikki Bella has been through. But as a performer, no. It is not a good idea, because Stephanie Vacour on her worst day could outperform Nikki at her absolute best. Stop. Just no. God forbid. God help us. So, anyway, the three got Punk. Jay and Cody are backstage, and Punk calls Regal, and he says War Games, and I hope Regal's okay. He doesn't look very healthy. I know he's had health issues. I really hope he's all right. Nakamura lost to Sheamus in 10 minutes. And Javon Evans against Gunther in the Last Time Is Now tournament. It is nice that we are going to see Javon Evans die on live TV. It's not nice, but at least people are going to get to see, because God forbid he is going to get bounced around. And Solo versus a surprise. Either going to be Roman Reigns or, oh, I don't know, say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. And Cena at MSG next week, and then Maxine versus Becky for the IC title. I'll tell you what, maybe I will watch next week and just review it because people might want to hear me rant. And then Kairi Sane and Asuka took on Charlotte and Alexa for the women's tag titles. For what reason do we pair Lash with Nia Jax? Nia Jax should not be in this company anymore. Nia Jax can't wrestle. She can't do anything properly. She can't bump. She certainly also has no business being around any kind of wrestling ring because she's terrible. Lash, bless her, is only going to be able to do so much if they're pairing her with a goddamn useless slug like that. And the insane elbow on Charlotte. You couldn't even pin Alexa, who is not good, is never going to be good, will never be good. She sells a lot of merch. Okay, and David Koresh had a lot of FBI agents at his goddamn compound. That doesn't make everything good. And, okay, fine, we got new tag team champions. Good. This was the main event. This is pretty much where the show just went, whatever, but that's okay. We then got Io. And Nia couldn't bump for shit, you dumb, useless trash heap. And then Ripley shows up in a mask. I don't know why. Is she injured again? And then she shouts War Games. Okay, so we're getting that. I might watch War Games. Might. I don't know. So this review actually went a lot longer than I expected because half of it was a fucking rant. So we will see what I do with the MSG Raw next week. If you see a review, great. If you don't, you don't. Because I'm watching another mystery movie next week. And I think I know what it's going to be. It's either going to be the Sisu sequel, or Sisu, or it's going to be a dark British comedy about murder. Hooray! So yeah, agree, disagree what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter, Letterboxd, Blue Sky handles in the description. I'm John Rittland. Until I come back to wrestling again, happy trails to you.